Hello, and welcome to When Music Meets Mindfulness. I'm your host, Vania Chan. Our featured guest today is Christina Petrowska Quilico. She is known as a champion of Canadian music, appointed to the Order of Canada for her celebrated career as a classical and contemporary pianist. The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation named her one of Canada's 25 best classical pianists and inducted her into its In-Concert Hall of Fame. I remember first meeting Christina in the early years of the Christina and Louis Quilico Awards vocal competition when I was a young competitor. And since then, we've periodically crossed paths at York University and through our mutual friend and collaborator, composer Alice Ping Yi Ho. So, Christina, it is truly a pleasure to have you here for our discussion on music and mindfulness. How are you today?
Oh, I'm pretty good. Thank you very much. It's a great topic.
So let's begin with our first topic, calming the mind. A calm and attentive mind is conducive to productivity and a high level of performance. Christina, you are known for your devotion to your art form and for the high standard of piano performance and personal artistry that you consistently offer. What are some activities that you feel help calm your mind, heighten awareness, and bring your focus to the present moment?
Well, I like to paint. I have a lot of paintings. Many are my CD covers. I write poetry. And when I sit backstage, I like to read mysteries, or I talk to everybody that's around and keep my mind off myself. So one of my teachers always used to say, get over yourself. It's not about you, it's about the music. Also, it's about the audience. And she would say, if people actually show up to hear you play, you need to respect them. You need to give something to them so that they're entertained. So my teacher said, well, you're doing the next concert. She said, you're getting full of yourself. And she said, you know what the critics might say? That you didn't live up to potential. And that just shattered me. I thought, oh, I better work. I better, really get into the music. And anytime I think that things are going well, I always calm myself down actually by thinking, get over myself. It's not my ego. It's not vanity. It's doing service to the art form. And we're the interpreters. We have to give the composer his voice. That's what I think about to calm myself down. I want to give something to the audience that's important and that I've worked. So it's not worth getting too nervous about.
I really love that you zeroed in on that idea of as artists, we're the vessels, especially for new contemporary music, where it courses through us and we are a
Yeah.
voice, not only ourselves, but definitely for the composer. We bring it to life. So it is we have to get out of our own heads, and that is a good way of calming our minds to take ourselves outside of ourselves and make ourselves part of the bigger tapestry of collaboration. So let's move on to our second topic, organizing our thoughts. Mindful strategies are geared towards organizing our thoughts, setting up a plan of action to achieve specific goals. Could you share some specific mindful strategies that you found most helpful and effective?
So visualization technique and really being in the moment. I usually visualize the tonal color, the sound first, and then the technique will come. When I'm thinking, well, backstage, trying to, calm myself down, organize my thoughts, I think, where does the fluidity and the energy come from? And it's the fingertips, because we touch the keys. And a lot of pianists will lift their shoulders up. I see that. I have to talk to myself about it too. Keep your shoulders down, think outwards, think into the piano. Don't get like that. And above all, don't do this with your wrist, because those gestures take away from the line, the musical line. And yeah, so no matter how many chords, no matter the passion or whatever, you need to keep that line focused. I had been reading a lot of art books because I like art, and I paint and draw. And so Kandinsky said some wonderful things. We tend to resonate like a tuning fork to certain sounds. I mean, certain sounds, like especially voice, piano not so much, but voice, like you can feel it resonate through your body and right into your fingertips. So I often think of that, try to think of myself singing at the piano. So you need to have a balance of being calm and energized at the same time, like an equal balance in nature. I change tempos when I'm practicing. So that slow music I'll play faster and fast music I'll play slower, just to, start balancing myself. We're kind of servants of the piano or of the instrument and the acoustics. So if you're in a church, sometimes it's very resonant. So, if you play too fast, it gets blurry. If it's in a dry hall, then you can play faster. We can't get bored because then it's not fresh. It's just being true to yourself and doing the best you can for the music. So if you're following a rule and it doesn't sound good, don't do it.
Exactly.
I'm a rule breaker.
The intention as an artist, which changes every time because we're human, and
Yeah.
life changes and everyday situations change, and so the storytelling changes, and you have different
Yeah.
imagery, different things to guide you through your performance. One of the things that I wanted to discuss with you, and I sent this ahead of time, was the idea of memory retrieval cues. Roger Chaffin, who is a research psychologist, worked closely with expert pianists, cellists, and singers. He revealed in his research that musicians develop and access these memory retrieval cues, and he called them performance cues, or PCs. And these are landmarks, like specific sections, musical phrases, etc., that we as musicians carefully and deliberately select and rehearse, and then we practice it so that in performance it comes automatically and effortlessly. So, Christina, would you say that you've utilized performance cues in your preparation and performance of new music?
It was the Pierre Boulez Sonata number 3. I was lucky enough to know Pierre Boulez. He was very kind to me. And what I did, I analyzed it. I did graphs. I studied everything that he had studied and read, E. Cummings, James Joyce, René Char, Baudelaire, Mallarmé, Kafka. And he felt that the sonata was like a map. So I began drawing perspectives. And, he liked the idea of building a city. So visualization, and that was the only way you could get through the sonata, and so I made my own personal cues. Oh, this reminds me of, a statement of Mallarmé or something like that.
Let's move on to the next section, which is flow, which is that
Right.
mind-body connection that's been finely tuned to the point where performance is effortless and spontaneous and enjoyable. You are constantly in the flow zone. And could you maybe share one specific performance, an experience that you really felt that effortless, enjoyable state of flow?
When I'm recording, if it's going really well, hopefully, usually it's not too bad. The producer, oh, you've been in the zone. So it's kind of a still point at which a time shift occurs, and your nervous tension is used as direction. It's of the moment. To get into that moment, don't think about anything else, how you've played it before, where you've heard it before. Music is there. It's not written in stone. It's of the moment, right? And you can change it. because if we keep practicing or doing it the same way, it gets boring.
Let's talk about Frank.
Yeah,
So More Rivers is your
yeah,
most recently released album, and the music composed by Frank Horvat. And you mentioned that he's an activist for mental health and a supporter of mindfulness. Yeah, please share your experience
yeah.
in preparing and recording this album.
What's so wonderful about the music of Anne Seldom and also Frank's is the fact that it's always in flux too, like nature. Interpretations can change, and new perspectives of the same themes can become an exciting adventure in sound. And he wanted to create an ode to her. It's kind of a passing of the torch from one generation to the other, from Anne to Frank. And because each river is a bit different, the same as Anne's was. It's quite tonal. So it's enjoyable as a meditative experience, even though I play fast in many parts, but it's still, it breathes. There are many movements that sustain the last chord. You can just, breathe through it. And then there's others that he'll do it, and then I have to cut off. I like that because if you've gone into a meditative state, you wake up because the next one's coming. You
And
can
it
play.
also shows you that you were in a meditative state, that shift, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always thought to myself that I'm not a vehicle for self-expression when I'm doing this stuff, more a voice or a vessel through which the composer's ideas come through. But we are allowed to change it a little bit and put our own mark on it. And usually the composers like it a lot. So there was a great deal of freedom. And I appreciate that Frank gave me that freedom. And I used to say that to Anne, thank you for letting me do my thing here as well. You've given me all the tools, you've given me all these melodies, everything. So both of them liked it because I think it was honest, and I wasn't doing it for myself. It's about the music, but we still have to feel, well, like you said, the flow. We have to feel spontaneous a little bit in our music making. Sometimes I think we live as performers too much glued to performance practice. You've got to be in flow.
Yeah. You have to have that flexibility of
Yes,
water, of rivers to
yeah,
flow. So the
yeah,
music that you did with Anne and Frank are obviously just conducive to flow. Like
yeah.
you feel that.
But to stay interested in the music is the most important thing. And park your ego elsewhere.
Yes, that's a big lesson for all of us to learn, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no worries. Yes, please bring your dog. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, she's adorable.
Yeah, it's a 5 pound chihuahua, but she
Oh,
was. This is Abby.
Abby. Oh, hi, Abby.
She's a rescue chihuahua.
Oh, she's adorable. Oh.
She always sits underneath the piano.
We've reached the end of our interview. So thank you again, Christina, for sharing your time, your experiences with and advice on mindfulness, and for bringing beautiful music into our lives through your captivating performances. To our audience, thank you for tuning in. See you next time on When Music Meets Mindfulness.